I'd like to call the meeting to order tonight. This meeting is being recorded. I would ask if there's anyone else recording this meeting. Seeing none, if you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow, look at this place tonight. This is awesome. Welcome, guys.
It was nice. We had some strong help with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, that's right. You guys did a great job. Thank you.
It wasn't just us for a change.
And you are here for some special recognition, right? You guys did a great job. So I will turn this over to Dr. Brunel for our special recognitions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the first one is a name that you have heard before. It is Dakota Gleason. This individual has been recognized in terms of her prowess with artwork, and this one is that being publicized in the Marvel Collection magazine. This is actually a magazine that publishes artwork and writing work from Massachusetts high school students. This is not the first time that a student from Auburn has been recognized, but is certainly a great honor, as I understand from Mrs. Bastian. So just want to congratulate for that great honor and distinction. I also want to share with you the Chamber of Commerce, as you know, has been extremely generous over the years in awarding scholarships as well as grants to our teachers, and would like to recognize those recipients this year and also offer sincere thanks to the Chamber for their ongoing support. So for the $3,000 Stephen Lucas Memorial Scholarship, that's been awarded to Lily White. There are 5 $1,500 scholarships. Katie Brophy, Emily Sarkeesian, Connor Scully, Lindsay Thunberg, and our own Opoku Ajman. A $1,000 career trade scholarship for Zachary Lemovitz Prunier. The member scholarship recipients, the $3,000 one, which is the Major David L. Brodeur Memorial Scholarship, is to Anna Hannigan. And then the $1,500 member scholarships went to Jess Hannigan and Dylan Antonopoulos. So I congratulate all of them, and also want to share that the Municipal Scholarship Committee has just awarded their $1,000 award to Lily White. And those funds actually come from taxpayers in Auburn who make a donation via their tax bill. So congratulations to all of those individuals.
That's excellent. What a great partnership with the Auburn Chamber.
I agree.
Great to have them as a member of the community. Congratulations to the scholars. And we now move on to citizens' comments. If you could just stand up to the podium and state your name, please.
My name is Thomas Stachura. I was born in this town, and I've been a resident for more than 81 years. And I must admit, I hadn't been tuned in to what's going on in the town for a lot of years since my folks died. I'm a single person, and presently I take care of my brother. I've been a caretaker even for my parents, both. And what I'm concerned about is the promotion of homosexuality in the town of Auburn. I almost fainted when I found out that what's the name of it now? The LGBT Alliance had been installed in this town in the 90s or something like that. Like I mentioned, being unconnected with what's going on as far as Auburn, but being connected with what's going on in the Boston area, I feel I had to try to do something about it. I had sent a letter here to the 5 members of the school committee that I hastily scratched out there because my word processor is too much trouble to dig out a bunch of books. And I also sent the material that I had accumulated over the years, beginning with the, they got the 1990 thing about our referendum being thrown out on an obscure technicality, and how we had dumped on as far as gay marriage with a crooked Supreme Court judge and friends. And at present, like I mentioned, we're in this situation we're in. I'd like to read the letter that I sent to the members. Okay. For the love of God and country, I'm
Mike.
appealing to you and the other members of the Auburn School Committee to do what you can to aid, to rid rather, our schools of the influence of
Hold on a second, sir. We'll give you a little bit extra time if you give us a minute.
Yeah. Just want to just have the kid, yeah. just-
removing the children now.
Smitty, you want to come up?
You can take the rest if you want.
Yeah.
You're doing fine. You can get your coat if you want.
Can I have some too? Oh, you're cold. I thought you said toys.
All right,
Oh, well,
sir,
sir.
it's all yours.
And keep in mind, I'm not used to public speaking, because this is the first time in my life.
Well, take your time.
Okay, I'll start again. For the love of God and country, I am appealing to you and the other members of the Auburn School Committee to do what you can to rid our schools of the influence of vocal and politically active homosexuals who are obviously preying upon misinformed adolescents who have a need for some honest guidance. The papers here, which all the members all got, should be of interest to you in regards to the promotion of homosexuality. And please note Mr. Kamika's warning about what the atheists in the LGBT movement now intend to impose upon us, which is something that's really a concern because we're being flooded with now not just a homosexual agenda, but the atheist movement. And they're connected, they're interconnected. Anyways, all of you members had received this, and if you'll notice that I also had something to refute the claim that they're born that way as far as homosexuality. And Reverend Lewis P. Shelton quotes Kinsey in saying that 80% attributed, this is a survey, almost 1,000 people, homosexuals, attributed orientation to childhood trauma or other environmental influences. And here's what they said, and the very first thing is, early homosexual experience with adults or peers. And this is one of the things that I'm really concerned about, because this is a learned experience. This is not an inborn thing.
Okay, well, we appreciate your comments. Your time is up. We did get the literature in the mail. We've had an opportunity to look it over. And that's a wrap. So I would, if you'd like to hear what Dr. Brunel's comments are regarding the legality of these things.
I just want to inject a few words. To try to do anything through our state legislature is a hopeless case, because I consider our
You may find that here tonight as well.
but the
So,
legislature is just about as corrupt.
I'm sorry, sir. The 3 minutes is up. I'm sorry.
But just about as corrupt as the Tweed gang
Well,
in Tammany Hall.
You may not be happy with what happens here tonight either, Dr. Brunel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What I would like to state emphatically is that this organization, this club that we have at school, is originated just as most of our other clubs did by student interest. This has been in existence for 20-plus years. It goes through a process. The principal approves it, and I then approve it as well. I heartily support this and any organization that supports our students in respecting diversity. So I give it my hearty endorsement.
And although I don't think it warrants a vote, this club is in place. We fully respect them as a committee as we advocate for all of our children, black, white, yellow, green, purple, gay, lesbian, transgender. We support each and every one of them here at the Auburn School Committee. So based on that, I will reinforce this with a vote. So I would entertain a motion to continue the LGBT club.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I would just like to say, if you don't mind, is we're here for all genders, whatever the way you want to put it. We're here to teach our children. And if we got good groups that are doing things for themselves and for others, we got no problem with that. Doesn't matter to us what make or model you are. We're here to do and help all. No discrimination, no nothing. You may not agree with it, and you may have your differences, which is your political right, and as a resident and a voter, you have the right to say what you want to say. But as far as I'm concerned, asking this member to knock down this group, I will not, and I will support it.
What do you mean by genders, plural? Is it anything other than male and female?
Indicate this.
No, I don't think, I
I'm
don't
talking
think,
about any. We're not,
I think we just.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote.
Okay,
Thank you for your time.
great.
Moving on,
We do the minutes.
I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the April 6th meeting.
Make a motion to approve the April 6th meeting minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. And now we move on to the Students' Representatives Report. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Well, last time I came here, I think I was at the STEM program in the presentation room, and a lot has happened. And I do apologize for my absence. Preparing for the AP exams this week and next week have been the main focus, as have been other students, both juniors and seniors. Promise this Saturday, we would talk about games, but most of them have been rained out. What else? Anything you got there?
Nope, so we have prom, like Yas said. We do, however, still have lacrosse games happening this week and next, I believe. Very big testing dates right now for the next week and a half. We have all of the rest of our continued AP testing. And then seniors leave on the 25th.
And then we come back a week to do our senior week, but
Right.
25th.
Yeah.
we're gonna make him come to the meetings all summer long.
I'm not going anywhere. One question though, there's a half day next week and there's an AP exam.
Oh.
3 of them.
Oh,
I think 4, but mainly 3.
okay. I will follow up with Mr. Hanfield about
Yeah,
that.
because I was wondering if would we have to stay after school? Like, would that be okay? Because so I know some of my friends are taking the French AP exam that starts at noon.
Okay.
Like, I'm not, not for myself because mine's in the morning, but at noon, do they go home and come back or do they stay?
Thank you.
Spoken like a
Chair
true
will-
representative.
Absolutely. We will look into that. Thank you.
And that's it for that report. Thank you very much. We now move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item is, as we heard with the great pledge that everyone assisted with, we have some very excited students and families in the audience. If you remember, about a month and a half ago, we had students that were recognized for having won their competition at the Quinsigamond Community College. This is the second year in a row that this has happened with the Auburn team. So with your permission, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Lavelle, who attended with the students and families, and Mrs. Lopez, who can do introductions and then share with us some of the exciting events that took place.
Sounds great.
Good evening, welcome everyone. Thank you for having us back again. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the school department and the school committee for allowing these talented students to go forward to Kentucky. It's been quite an experience, and also to the Auburn community and these hardworking parents as part of this team who have done some tremendous fundraising and have raised thousands of dollars to make sure that these students had the opportunity to compete in this very diverse, culturally rich World VEX Robotics Championships. So without further ado, I will let Mr. Lavelle and Mrs. Lloyd, our team coach, explain the trip and give you the highlights of all that, and most importantly, recognize all of the students and their families. Thank you.
Good evening. All right, so I'm Mike Lavelle, the assistant principal over at Swanson Road Intermediate School, and like Dr. Brunel had said, our students had won our southeastern region or southern New England regional competition and earned their right to participate in the VEX World's Robotics competition down in Kentucky. So when we first got there, or when I first got there, I'm looking all over this place, and it's a huge, competition scene. and there's 31 different countries that are involved. And I didn't really know what I was getting into because it's my first round. So I looked around and I was like, wow, this is like the Olympic Games, literally like the Olympic Games. And they kind of fashioned it after the Olympic Games as well. So we're having opening ceremonies, we're having a parade of nations, we got 31 different countries that are going on, there's a STEM Hall of Fame that's involved. All of our students, I can't tell you, when I was down there, it was, proud is kind of an understatement. It was an honor to say that I was representing Swanson Road and these are my students. They not only represented themselves and their families so well, they represented our Auburn community and our school. I mean, it was, like I said, it was an honor to be saying these are my students. And without any further ado from me, the Swish Robotics team, their machine, or their robot, The Machine, and their coach, Christine Lloyd, are first from your left to right. We have Anthony Lloyd, we have Quinn Cahill, Trevor Smith, Isabella Doyle, and Mrs. Christine Lloyd, their coach, who I would like to bring up now so we can get to our presentation.
All right, guys, stand up with me. Come on over here. All right, so we have our team name, right? What's our name?
Swish.
Swish. What does it stand for?
Swanson Road Intermediate School High Scorers.
High score, right? So we have Swish here. And let's see. We have our introductions already done, 31 countries. There were 147 IQ teams, and so to put that in perspective, there are 4 levels of VEX. There's VEX IQ. This way?
I was asking Mike to dim the light.
Oh, so we can see.
VEX. I'm like, I'll go.
Nope, the other one.
Other one.
VEX IQ, which is what we practice, and they're the plastic pieces. And that can be elementary school and middle school. And then there's VEX EDR, which is middle school and high school, and those are metal pieces with more electronics. And then there's VEX U, and that's university level. And so we had 147 teams just in elementary IQ, not the middle school, so it was a huge competition. We placed 69th in the Teamwork Challenge. Who can tell them what the Teamwork Challenge is?
The Teamwork Challenge was when one team worked with another to score as many points as possible.
And then what happened with the finals? Can someone talk about the finals? Go ahead, Isabella.
The top 40 ranked in the qualifying teamwork matches would go to the finals and play like extra matches to decide like who would remain and who would be the top.
And how far away were we from the finals this year?
100 points.
100 points. How many matches is that, Trevor?
Like, maybe one for us.
Yeah, like one match. So we were very close. These guys did amazing. We were hoping for top 75 this year. We got 69th, and we are that close, right? We got top 40 in the world. And then in our programming skills, we came in 53rd, which is amazing. And that's really what allows these kids to kind of move up to the next level for EDR, because the first 15 seconds of any EDR competition has to be programming, where you cannot touch the controller at all. The robot has to go in and do its job, and they tell the robot what to do. And that's the first 15 of the 60 seconds on the next level of VEX. And so they're really prepared for that. They're ready for that. They're in the top third of the world with their programming skills, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's great.
This is them. And then what was this?
This is the convention center, isn't it?
Yeah. Over 1,100 robots. So it's all around Kentucky. So all around Louisville, you'll see these signs welcoming the world to their competition. And that's the picture of the big stage behind us.
Wasn't that like universities?
Yep, the Freedom Hall. Freedom Hall. There's Miss Bella, welcome teams, right? Like Ms. Jovel said, definitely set up like the Olympics. And so they're celebrating these kids, and they, spare no expense to celebrate them, make them feel like this is their moment. We got our Massachusetts flag.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Huge thank you to the families, because they helped us, right? They helped us decorate for our Swish. You can tell we went with the basketball theme. There is a pit decorating contest. We did a really good job this year. We have a long way to go still. Do you agree? There are some amazing interactive pit areas that people put on, and they do really good, really good. What is this, guys?
The parade.
Parade of Nations. Yep, so all 31 countries come across the stage. having some fun, right? Yeah. So people, it's exciting. It's a competition. It's like a sports event. If you have a name like Swish, there might be people who are decked out in basketball costumes. These guys were the Iron Monsters, I think, or something like that. They have names and they go all out with their theme and their costumes, and they really have team spirit. And that's what's great about this VEX program, is it brings the kids together as a team, even though it's not sports. I took this picture because if you can see up in the top, right in the middle there, on the top, see those white shirts in a row?
Yeah.
That's our Auburn family right there. So we were waiting in the hallway. We didn't go sit with them, but you can see that we have our Auburn pride all the way up in the stand. So white is the way to go. We'll take you out. And you can see how big the stadium is, right? Gigantic. Just a close-up of the Parade of Nations. And then this is us now watching the rest of the parade. Having some fun. You gotta have some fun in the hallway, right, while you're waiting? Yep. And then getting down to business. So what, can you guys talk about what you see in the picture for them?
Oh, like, you see like 3 different stands. One was like hex bugs, and then I forgot the others.
It's all right, REC.
And then Robo-Matter. And then you would just play on the field with your other team to get the most points.
And we're on the far right on this one. So we would always be in what's called the engineering, I think they called it lead division. So we always played on this stage, and there are 4 of these stages in picture like the DCU Center bottom. And so we're on this one big stage. And so there we are getting ready for the countdown.
As you see, there are some other huge robots.
Yeah, definitely some big robots.
Definitely see that.
And giant screen, you can see the guy right there, Mechanical Mariners. That was an amazing team, great sportsmanship. They have their pig nose on. So some kids come, the Wisconsin has the cheese hats, and we show some pride. They do a great job of emceeing it, getting the kids excited and kind of showing the crowd what's going on as you're playing. These guys had some kind of headband on, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was awesome.
Our top score 137, which was awesome for Swanson Road. And then what was this?
That was the skills, yeah.
Yeah, driver skills. So they do teamwork challenge where they have to work with somebody else, but then they also get to show off what they can do on their own. And so just by themselves, how many points can they score? And then this one, Isabella's our master at this. What is this?
Autonomous.
They are our autonomous, our programming skills, right? She knows, so autonomous is all about precise placement, and we call it attend to precision. 5th grade math standard, right? You got to attend to precision, make sure you know where you're going, and Isabella has that down for her autonomous. Some family time, we try to squeeze in a little bit. A little bit of family time, and then of course, our STEM Hall of Famers for these guys.
That's great.
With Machine.
Oh yeah, I love that.
We were going to the award ceremony. He's one of the MC people. Just you can imagine the excitement he has when he's presenting with the kids and doing this with them. You know, and just thank you. Thank you, right?
Thank you.
Great job, guys. Any comments from the board? Ms. Harrington?
How many teams from Massachusetts were there?
I want to say there were 6 from Massachusetts. There were 3 that went just from the Southern Regional, which is our place that we play, and I believe there were 3 others from the Boston Division.
Wow.
The Western Mass is actually starting it up this year. Is their first year to try to start it up out in Western Mass.
So we're cutting edge.
We are cutting edge. We are.
No, that's great. Congratulations, guys. Good job.
Any other comments or questions?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No.
I just want to say, I'm immensely proud of you guys. I can't wait till my little one gets to participate. She's so psyched about this, which is really exciting. So, job well done. Keep doing the good stuff.
Yeah. And now you're 5th grade, right? So what happens next year?
That is my question.
Bigger and better, I would hope.
That's right.
I would love to see the program grow in Auburn.
Yeah.
I know that QCC, I've reached out, is willing to support it at the middle school with robots and equipment. So I would love to have a conversation with whoever needs to have a conversation and say, how do we move this up? I would say that I would love to stay with Swanson. I think we have something going. I think we have a good program and it's sustainable. Who can we find to lead these guys on and the next 4th and 5th graders on into the middle school league?
We
and
have
keep
that
us
on
growing.
camera now, so you're.
Listen,
You just sealed the deal.
vertical alignment,
That's
vertical
right.
alignment, that's what it's about. And there's real opportunity for these guys if they're into it.
I would think so.
That's great.
The more they do it, the better they'll get.
There you go. I'd like to say congratulations and a lot of hard work, that's for sure. And if you ever need a vote or something from me as a board member, I'd be more than happy to support you. Keep up the good work, and it's great to see you working together as teams and actually making Auburn look good too. You're making your schools look good, and you ought to be proud of yourselves for the work that you're doing. And keep it up, and thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Lloyd, thank you for all your support. It's great watching the program grow and to see the excitement in the kids' eyes and just the local competitions that we go to at the school. Those are fantastic. We didn't like getting knocked out as a family, but but we're all family here, so it's great to see these guys advance. And they had a great chaperone, Mr. Lavelle, and we look forward to watching the program grow even more. So again, reiterating what Wayne said, you definitely have our support. We'll work closely with Dr. Brunel and the leadership team to make sure that we can implement some more programs.
That's exciting.
Dr.
Because I
Brunel?
have a little one and he'll be coming up soon too, right? Before you know it.
Through the chair, we saw some samples of this back at the conference back in November, and everyone was very impressed by them, and I know that this is the second year, but I see great things in the future, and I will definitely be talking, because our plan is to have it start here as a foundation, then have it continue to grow, so
That's exciting.
very excited. Congratulations, boys and girls,
Thank
great
you.
job.
Thank you.
Would you
Thank
boys and
Thanks
girls
to the
like to come
families,
up here
too.
and shake our hands so we can congratulate you on a personal level?
Congratulations, great
Nice
job.
work, buddy.
Nice job.
Thanks for
Great
representing
job,
Auburn.
I know, exactly.
work.
Great
Keep
job.
I'm glad to see there's a growing team too.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you so
Keep up the
much.
good work. Proud.
Thank you.
Good job. Make sure you continue doing
Good job, buddy.
this.
Good job.
You guys, would you guys like to take off? You must have homework to do, right? Video games. Yes. Thanks. Have a good one.
Thank you.
I know, it's parked.
Guys, thank you.
All right, thank you.
very much.
Have a nice night.
Thanks.
You too.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. He's lost great contacts.
Make sure you don't forget any of them.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
All right, have a good
Thanks.
night. Okay, we now go back to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Now, not an easy act to follow,
No.
but I, with your permission, have Mr. Fahey, who is here, just to provide a brief update regarding the grounds. He typically does this, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But as you know, Joe is absolutely everywhere on all of the campuses of our schools, days, nights, weekends, and such. So happy to have him here to give this update.
Thank
If
you,
anyone
thank
can
you.
do it.
That's right.
It's the headline.
Things I do to get out of doing the dishes. Just a quick little field update for the spring.
Me too.
At our high school, now it's over 10 years old, we exceeded our warranty on our turf fields. So as you know, we get them groomed 4 times a year. And what we started doing last year is we had the company who installed the field actually come in with a special machine and groom it, okay? To give us that I guess it's easy to probably describe it as having your rug shampooed at home. You know, that they really get in down and deep. And what they do is they do a complete vacuum. And when the vacuum does, it also pulls out everything with a magnet. And they'll find bobby pins, they'll find earrings, they find a little bit of everything, pieces of cleats. These are things that don't get worn into the ground, so they're a potential hazard. So it's important to get this type of service done. And because we have our rental accounts at the high school, that's actually what pays for this. So it's a good thing. This past year also, we probably had about 25 open seams on a football field, which is a heck of a lot better than what we've had in the past. In the past, I think I came to you and talked about 173, 53, so the constant maintenance is keeping the upkeep, which is what we need to have done. So that's good. And our all-purpose field we had done also this year, we've only found like 3 open seams. It's important to get those open seams because they're a hazard, you know. You read about it in the paper, you know, people will come out with ACL injuries. It's so important, you know, so we really stay on top of that. We also, if you notice in the springtime, of course I know someone knows because everyone will call me and say, geez, that goalpost is crooked. The winds we have down there are pretty strong, so strong that they actually tilted the goalposts. So guy actually who did the repair, New England Services, he said, geez, I would never expect that in this particular climate. He came from California. He said it was very unusual, but first time in 10 years. So we're doing pretty good. So that was pretty good. Also this year, for our softball field, every year we always talk about the dandelions, the crabgrass, and we always say that through our IPM plan we cannot do that. So what we've done is we reached out to Ford's Hometown Service. They are actually our IPM coordinator for the district, and they have an organic treatment, which makes it safe for our IPM plan. So it's about a 6-year program, and it's costly, but the whole idea of it, it's natural, and in probably the year 4, 5, and 6, the price will be cut down in half, because now it's actually working. So that's our hopes. We're actually hoping for that same program to be incorporated over here to our small soccer field, excuse me, on the new middle school, because as you know, that's natural grass. On May 17th, we're having the same treatment done to our new field over here. And the nice thing what we've done through the project is, instead of purchasing equipment, the equipment that we would have purchased would have been the exact same equipment that we purchased at our high school. So there's no sense in having 2 sets of equipment. So what we're able to do is we're able to turn it into a warranty, where they would come in with that groomer that I was talking to you about for the life of the warranty for this project. And that's actually being absorbed through the project. So it's almost a $48,000 savings.
Great.
So we're excited about that. And that's all I have to report on the fields.
Any comments, questions?
Yeah, through the chair, you just continue to pull rabbits out of hats. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, no, you do a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I would just, I'd ask Joe, were there any concerns with Quincy using the fields this year? How did everything go, to your knowledge? Any repairs that had to be made, any damages?
None whatsoever. There was a couple colleges that actually used the field, and it was, it's not like you would think. It's not like you're getting a big draw of people. So really, you're only getting the parents that their kids are playing. And actually, I can attest to that. My son plays for Anna Maria. So that's why I got the sunburn last Saturday. There was a doubleheader at the high school. And I was watching that, and it's true. Only the people that were there are the parents. It's too bad there's not a fan base, but, you know, these kids are in college. You know, they have their own lives. The rest of the kids have their own lives, and it's just play baseball and go home.
They played at Auburn?
They played at Auburn.
No, you weren't on the clock, were you? How does that work?
Well, I was
Mum's the word.
I know you are.
No, but it really worked out well. There wasn't, you know, I didn't see any mess. Of course, I'm watching out for it. And these kids are very respectful. You know, they clean up after them. That's actually one of the things that, because no matter what team plays in that field, I think you're always going to find an alumni from Auburn. And the way Eric Swedberg runs his program, after every practice, every game, they go out there and they brush it down. They do what they're supposed to.
Yeah.
So,
Wayne?
I'd just like to say thank you too for doing such a good job on all the fields and taking care of them the way you do. And it's good that you do annually checking up on these fields, especially when you come up with a problem with the seams. Now, that's something you know, as I know, that you can go right out and repair that, and that'll save you many, many years down the road. Where if you didn't take complete control of it, people could get hurt on it, trip on it, or water could get under it, ruin everything else underneath. I just want to thank you for doing such a good professional job and your employees.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks very much.
Have a good night.
Thank
You too. Get those dishes done.
With
Dr.
your
Brunel?
permission, Mr. Chair, Mrs. King is here to address a couple of items, so if it's okay, I'd like to, under new business, do the professional standards for school nutrition personnel, and then the two final items from the business financial report, so that we could address those, if that's okay with you.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Any objections? All right.
So the first item, in terms of the professional standards, we had actually included in your packet a memo that there are new standards that are coming out. They actually are effective July 1st of 2016. And it in there includes required annual training hours. As per the memo that's in your packet, and through the diligence of Mrs. King and Mrs. Worsbicky as one of her responsibilities assists too, we're actually already meeting it in many areas, exceeding those requirements that don't go into effect until this July. So I just wanted to make you aware. There are also additional requirements in terms of the Director of Food Services, and the director that we have far surpasses those expectations and requirements. So we're in a very good position there. And I do thank all of our staff for their commitment to the training. It's an ongoing process, and I know that, I believe Mrs. Worsbicky shared at a recent meeting when the John Stalker Institute came in for a training that took place in March, so that was a part of that as well. The other item to share with you is, or actually Mrs. Worsbicky, if you want me to turn it over to you for the two items that were from your portion.
Okay, for the, I have the year-to-date budget.
Oh, I meant just the food service portions. The requests from food service, and then also the food service audit, just to update those. So the first item is on page 5, actually. Mrs. King is here, and as part of your packet, she's included a memo requesting an increase in the breakfast costs. So I'll turn it over with your permission, Mr. Chair, to Mrs. King, just to update us on that request.
Okay, welcome.
Good evening, and thank you very much. We've been, looking at the price of food costs and labor costs are rising over the course of the next couple of years, and we did a thoughtful review of current prices for food cost and labor cost, and we also did a review of the regional prices for breakfast, which are in your packet. Average food cost for breakfast is running around $1.77 right now, and part of this is due to the fact that we have really expanded our breakfast participation and offered a new grab-and-go program which started a year and a half ago. And as a result of that, April participation from April 15 to April 16 increased 35%. And part of that is due to the fact we have a shelf-stable breakfast program which students are able to purchase in the morning or any time during the day. And this has been very, very beneficial for students to actually increase their nutrition. The cost of our food is around $1.77 with labor included and other expenses. And so we're looking to recommend a price increase to $1.75 beginning this coming school year. We've been at $1.50 for the past 2 years, and we're looking to request that, increase.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the increase in school breakfast from $1.50 to $1.75.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Did we increase the prices of lunch last year and say that was going to hold for a couple of years?
We are required under the current regulation, but we're hopeful in the summer that that regulation will be relaxed. We were required to increase the price of school lunch, which we did in April of this past year. And we're not requesting an increase at this time.
And what do they pay for lunch now?
$3 at our middle school and high school, and $2.75 at our elementary schools.
Yes.
I was just gonna say that, part of, she had put in her packet what area schools are charging for their breakfast programs for next year. The 175 would be right in the range. It's costing us $1.77 to produce the breakfast each time, so we were just thinking that 175 might be good. As far as the meal, the actual meal itself, we feel like we're doing well with that, and we're not looking at raising it at any time in the near future, so.
Okay, thank you.
Dorothy?
Through the chair, I just have a general question just about how this fits in with people utilizing free breakfast or reduced breakfast.
There you go.
There's no impact with our free students or with our reduced price students at all.
But have we seen an have we seen an uptick in people actually utilize the ones that are eligible? Actually using
Most definitely. We've seen a 35% increase in one year with more students actually accessing breakfast, so we're very excited about that. Students are getting better nutrition because of it.
Great. Any other comments or questions?
I was just going to say through the chair, Ms. King is also looking into some grants that are available for offering breakfast on the go. There's some new ideas out there that we've been looking at, like breakfast kiosks, where you could take and go to the classroom, having it on different levels as opposed to having to go down to the cafeteria, especially for like the middle school and high school levels. And so she's been looking at that as well. And so we're waiting to hear. We've put in an actual two
grants were submitted last week for enhancing our school breakfast program at the middle school and high school. The majority of our participation is in our elementary schools, and we feel we still have a lot of students that would really benefit from having breakfast.
Well, good luck with those grants, hopefully.
Thank you.
Well, at least one of them comes through. Wayne?
Yes.
I guess I'm all set. Dorothy actually had brought up what I wanted to check, but I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks for the soda.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Sid.
I think of you.
And the next item on our agenda was the food service audit by DESE that we had on March 1st and March 2nd of this year. There was a memo from Ms. King explaining the review itself. We came away with great results. They were very impressed by some of the, like our breakfast program. That was one of the big things they highlighted for us, and I'll let you speak more to it.
Every 3 years, the USDA requires a review from the state level of our all school meals program for all activities that we participate in. And this was our first time with the new review process, and they cover almost 300 different category requirements. And some of the items that they mentioned, we certainly reviewed with them, and we corrected those any actions that they had recommended during the review. And we're just highlighting some of those items, and we did really well. We're really pleased with the support of the staff and the work that they do every day. It's really amazing.
Good. Excellent. Comments, questions?
The only thing I can say is, other than what I said, was that just tell you, workers are doing a good job.
They are. Very proud, very happy with
I've been through
them.
schools we've all had, we've seen them at work. We understand what they're going through.
I do as well, yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now back to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So there's an item in here from Mr. Bouvier regarding obsolete equipment, pretty much on an annual basis, and he works closely with Mr. Fahey to recycle, actually, and it's done all thoroughly, and everything, personal information or identifiable is removed. For equipment that is no longer functional, does require your approval and have it be deemed obsolete. Once so, this technology is actually awaiting disposal at Julia Bancroft, and with your approval, then we'll have that recycling company come in and actually take it away. That would require a vote from you.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion to deem out-of-date electronic equipment currently housed at JV as obsolete, as per Mr. Bouvier's memo.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote.
The next memo from Mr. Bouvier is regarding surplus equipment. So this is equipment that actually is still working. It's actually monitors. And because we closed 2 schools and got all new equipment with our new middle school, we have an excess of monitors available. Now, Mr. Bouvier, it's his intention to keep approximately 30 or 40 of them to use for replacement if there are any issues. But that still leaves well over 150 of them available. So by you deeming them surplus, what we would first do is offer them to other town departments, as we always try to do, and see if there are any local departments. We could then reach out to the local nonprofits in town that we have in the past. And then if one's satisfied, we could even check, and this happens oftentimes on the superintendent's listserv, even check with some local area school districts who might be able to make use of them. As a last resort, we would have them recycled. But I think it's a nice opportunity to help the others in our community first and foremost.
Wayne?
I'd just like to thank you doing about the nonprofits and stuff like that and other schools and help like that. But once you get this finalized, what you're doing and where it's going, could you give us feedback on that?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
I entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Okay, so the motion is to approve the deeming the extra monitors as surplus. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is a vote.
Last night, our budget was approved. It was a successful town meeting. Just wanted to update you, the state's numbers are not yet final. It has moved on from the House. The numbers for the unrestricted general government aid and Chapter 70 did remain the same as the governor's proposed numbers. So as soon as we hear anything more from the Senate, I will certainly share with you. It goes to Senate and then to a conference committee. But hopefully we will know those final numbers soon. Some nice, exciting things happening in Auburn. Also, these were mentioned last evening. There's the grand reopening of the Packagug Golf Course. All of you are invited to that. That will take place on Friday, May 6th. And that's actually going to be taking place from 10:30 to 11:30. There will be some dignitaries speaking at that. And then later that day from 12:30 to 1:30, they're celebrating it. Actually, the 90th anniversary was back in March. But the 90th anniversary celebration of Robert Goddard's launch of the first liquid rocket. So we actually have Auburn Middle School students under the direction of Mrs. Robbins, we're going to be transporting them up there, and they're going to be actually launching some rockets to simulate what had taken place that day. And you're certainly welcome to join that event too. So it should be a nice day.
Yeah, really.
There's also a poster contest that's taking place with our elementary students around the whole theme of Robert Goddard. And the winners of that will be framed and put up in the clubhouse up at Packagug. So be nice commemorations. I know that I say this, I think, at every meeting, but I really mean it now, at how busy things are, certainly. This is a great week, and it seems to fall every year on our school committee week. There's Teacher Appreciation Week this week. We had Administrative Assistants Day last week and School Nurses Day. There's some going back and forth from the PTO meeting. It's the 3rd, something it's the 11th, but it's all around this time of year. And I do want to thank our elementary PTO. I know I was up at Packagug today. They were sponsoring a luncheon there today. They're doing one at Swanson Road and one at Bryn Mawr School. And the PTO and our boosters and FAME, our organization's built of volunteers who just give so freely of their time and really benefit not only our kids but our staff. So I want to thank them as well and thank all of our staff for the great work they do each day. Unfortunately, the Walk to School Day they promoted was to take place this morning, but with the inclement weather, I believe they postponed it. The plan was to wait until next week. I don't know for sure. I know that notices went home yesterday saying if it rains, we're not going to do it, but it will be taking place. Just a good way to promote some walking and exercising.
They could have just changed the name to Walking in the Rain.
Walking in the Rain. That would have been good. Walking in the Rain. And then finally, under my report is the safety training simulation. As I've shared with you before, and we've now announced this twice in email notifications, that as part of the safety update training, rather than use YouTube videos from other school districts, we're creating our own under the direction of Mr. Bergman, a TV production teacher. So on Tuesday, there will be students who will be assisting with this, as will the Auburn Police and Fire. So we're going to use that video for training purposes moving forward.
Good.
So if anyone sees vehicles or sirens, it is not an emergency, it is a simulation only.
Great. We now move on to unfinished business.
So the cafeteria workers contract, as shared with you, they have ratified it. Just like to provide a brief overview of what that contract entails. So it is a 3-year contract, and I thank Mr. Page as well as Dr. Lozay and Mrs. Worsbicky for their assistance in negotiating that. Over 3 years, it's a 1.5% increase in the first year, 1.5% in the second, and 2% in the third. There was an adjustment made to create more of a differential between the secondary cafeteria workers and their colleagues, because they're supervising a larger number. The bookwork rate that was always separate has now been added into the cafeteria manager's rate. We will be paying for ServSafe training, course time, and testing. We want as part of that professional standards, to be sure that we stay on the forefront. We're paying for School Nutrition Association membership for that, and also for uniforms, which we think will bring an even more professional look to the great job that they do. So it is my recommendation that you approve that contract, and should you do so, we will pass these around and people can sign and just initial each of the pages as well.
I'll entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for the cafeteria workers for the 3-year period, July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2019.
Second.
Any discussion?
Thank you for working so hard to get it done.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote.
Great. The next item, just wanted to make you aware, on April 21st, representatives from MSBA did come out and looked at the Packagug roof. As you know, we've put in an application through the Accelerated Repair Program. So we don't expect to hear back from them likely until June, if the timeline remains the same as next year. I thank Mr. Fahey as well as Dr. Lozay for being there for that. And also wanted to make you aware that when I had spoken at the Selectmen's meeting, I had stated as an example the 54.16%. That was only an example, just in recognition that actually the MSBA will set that rate. So I will keep you apprised moving forward. And then finally, the bus application for 2016-17. It seems we've been talking about this for quite some time, but the deadline truly is looming now. June 1st is the deadline, so we sent that home in an email notification again today. At some point next week, I will do a one-call phone call, just as a reminder. I know our goal every year is to try and not have any late fees assessed, and hopefully this year we will be successful in having that happen.
Don't count on it.
Okay.
Could you answer a question about that?
Yes.
You've probably explained it a million times, but do they have to pay all at once or just sign up for it?
They actually do need to pay by the June 1st deadline. And
So they need to pay the $100 or?
They do. But what's really important is for those individuals who qualify for free or reduced lunch, there is no fee, but so they need to submit their application by the June 1st deadline, and there's no fee. If that comes in after the deadline, then there's a $50 late fee.
And there's no fee for students in grades 1 to K to 6, right?
Correct. It depending if they live over 2 miles out. There is a fee for all students at the secondary level, 6 through 12.
Yeah.
And now move on to new business.
So my evaluation update, I believe Mrs. Zotner left those for you at your seats. They are the 2 materials that were provided to you last year, obviously updated from the goals that I had this year. So at your pleasure, Mr. Chairperson, you can set a date when they are due, and they could simply be returned to Mrs. Zotner. If you want to keep the date of May 11th, would allow her time to get those compiled so that they could be announced on May 18th.
I would say May 11th is fine if there's no objection. If we need a little bit extra time, we could always expand on that till the end of the week, maybe.
Sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, 13th.
The 13th?
13th is fine.
The 13th, you want to just go for the 13th in
13th.
case we get a little backed up?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Great. Thank you.
And if there's any questions, and last year was the first time we did it in this format, I'm sure Dr. Brunel will tell you how she wants it filled out. So just stop in.
Okay. The next item, under school choice, we had, and I think it speaks strongly to the recognition of the great program that we have here in Auburn. We had approximately 130 or so applications, and we were only able to award a very small number of those. I've spoken with both Mr. Gagnon and Mr. Hanfield, as well as Dr. Lozay. And based on our projected enrollment counts for next year, we believe that there is certainly ample space to add some additional slots. So it is my recommendation that you approve the addition of 2 slots at Auburn Middle School and 4 slots at Auburn High School. As again, that would still keep our numbers below their current numbers this year in overall enrollment. The school choice students that we have, we continue to monitor their progress. They are certainly positive and contributing members to our team. So it is my recommendation that you make those adjustments.
I would entertain that motion.
Make a motion?
Second.
Make
I'm making a motion. And I'm seconding it.
Do we have any discussion on that?
Just a question.
Ms. Harrington?
Taking on more students, are we thinking ahead to siblings and like
So,
as we start
yeah.
through?
So what we try to do is, Mrs. Zotner does a great job in keeping everything organized, and then we do random draws. When we have the issue of additional siblings, I would bring those issues to you. On the application, they actually need to mark that, so it really keeps us apprised of that. So we monitor. Yeah.
So it's really only 4 years that we're forecasting for that individual student who's signing up. Now, if that student graduates, is the sibling
No, it's
allowed
only
following
while
year?
the child is a student of ours.
Okay.
Does that count in terms of siblings?
Oh, yeah, that-
Was it-
Yeah, so once they graduate, that doesn't, so, the thinking around it, and actually the law, states that you could certainly give preference, and then the Auburn School Committee policy, which I think makes sense, because if a parent is driving a child, say from Millbury, and it just makes sense for them to be able to bring, they get preference for the other.
Sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Any other comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
Great, thank you. Just wanted to remind you and everyone that the town election will take place on May 17th, and I encourage everyone to go out and vote and exercise their civic duty. In terms of upcoming events, we've got book fairs. There are the art festival I want to draw your attention to. That will take place a week from tomorrow at Auburn High School. It's always a great event. It's actually the Festival of Arts, STEM, and Wellness. It's been expanded. The middle school play will take place next weekend, the 13th and 14th. I mentioned, I think, earlier that Seussical, the musical, was really outstanding last weekend, and heard quite a bit of comments from people last night at town meeting about it. And the schools are all doing lots of different culminating events, including concerts, and then there's some field trips as well. So exciting time, and also happy that some of our special students will be participating in the Special Olympics at at Leicester High on May 20th, not October 20th, May 20th. Should be a fun day.
Very nice.
Excuse me, through the chair, what is this
Sorry,
Bryn
Jess,
Mawr
she wants to-
Mosquito Man?
So actually, that is it's a gentleman who comes in, and this is offered each year, and actually just reminds the children, just with there's so many mosquito-borne illnesses, about protecting themselves, just for outdoor activities. We want to promote that, but just, to be cautious, so, the
okay.
mosquito man.
Just,
We do.
Whatever order you guys want to go in.
I'm just gonna add to her thing that she just said about mosquito. The government does, people that have mosquitoes bad in their yard, the town in Auburn is on a program where if you call them or call the town Board of Health, that they can come and spray your yard.
Oh, great.
And they do it through the summer. A lot of people don't know that, but, I mean, if you have a lot of mosquitoes, it's no cost to you. It's a well thing to do to protect yourself and your animals. Thank you. I know it wasn't privy to what we were doing, but.
Well, thank you.
Did you still have anything, Ms. Harrington?
Yeah, I had a question about the mosquito man, but I also want to say, Dottie and I go out of our way a lot to attend the programs put on by the students at the schools, and we really make an effort to go to the National Honor Society, and I just want to say that no doubt Peter Pan will live up to the expectations of Seussical and everything else, but really the students do such a great job and with the programs that they put on, and it's an honor for myself to attend, so. You can tell your cronies that.
It's because I feel like as though the middle school is always in competition with the high school though, because especially with the incoming this year's freshmen coming from the middle school, and they were had all the leads and everything, which was amazing because I went to the middle school play instead of the high school play last year. Well, because I was in it, and then I just decided to go. And then this year, I'm looking forward to Peter Pan because I haven't seen it since 4th grade at my old school. So.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
Related, could you speak to the Unified Track event that happened this week? I saw it on the Auburn Daily, but there wasn't a whole lot of information on that,
Oh,
so
that
I'd
was
love to hear about
awesome.
that.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
would you like to speak?
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be great.
So, as part of the track community service, and because we all decided it would just be awesome to support another track team from the Auburn High School, no matter what they do, to go out and volunteer and help out with the event, because it was our first home meet for Unified Track, and so we wanted to make it feel special. And so I bounced around from shot put to long jump, and I saw that the true enjoyment, the first part was when they did their pre-lap, and we stood on either side of the track and clapped for them, for both teams especially, to make them feel welcome and hey, you're one of us. And then throughout the day it just got even better, because then they got comfortable. I think some even qualified for districts, and it's just to see the true enjoyment of their face, especially engaging in sports, kind of brought me in awe. I was just wow. So
You guys are great, yeah.
yeah,
you
and
are.
they had a beautiful day to do it too, because all our track days, except the ones at home, have been rained out, so they're lucky.
Make sure you tell your classmates that we think that you guys are wonderful for what you do, really.
Yes.
Through the chair. I was actually at a sporting event, and I ran into the woman who is also a teacher at the high school who runs the program. And she showed me a video that one of the parents made, and she stood there crying and just was overwhelmed by the students helping other students and the compassion that you guys all have for each other.
Yeah.
So then I started crying. And it's really ugly scene. But yeah, it's a great thing you guys have going.
Yeah, it was such a new experience, and it's we got off to a few bumpy starts, not knowing that we had to measure, I think, in meters instead of feet, like we usually do for shot put. So as soon as we got that covered, because the other team, I forget where they came from, but they were really helpful because they had the experience in showing us the right ways, and it was just an awesome time.
Yeah, I would really like to see it continue throughout the year. I know basketball, she had flirted with the idea. I don't know if we could use Mary D possibly, or something, JB or something along those lines, but as a school committee member, I would support that 100% and encourage it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I will say, through the chair, I had the opportunity to go for a portion of the time, and It was really exciting and heartwarming to see the kids when they were competing. But I was also likewise impressed with all of the students who gave of their time and the number of staff who were there to support and the cheering that ensued as the kids, came down and taking pictures. It was really nice. And I do know that they're interested in expanding it, and I think that we would all support that. So really a great event, great program.
It's a wonderful thing. That's why I wanted to hear more about it. I was touched by just a little bit that I read in the Auburn Daily.
Yeah.
So
Really excellent.
great. Any other comments?
Through the chair, we do have one more coming up. Do you have the date? Maria?
It's
There's
planned for
another
tomorrow.
one.
I had shared it with the committee. It's weather dependent. I don't know how it's going to be, but I would assume they would reschedule, so I appreciate you bringing that up. But if it does, it will happen tomorrow, so hopefully that will be the case.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We now move on to everyone's favorite piece, the business and financial. Cecilia?
Well, good evening.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
I provided a year-to-date budget report for each of you in your packet. The report was dated as of April 14th. We were trying to get the packets up before vacation. We're busily looking at, trying to get our budget in order and get everything taken care of and covered. So I feel free to answer any questions if you have any questions regarding that. I've also provided in your packet a group of transfers. I have some transfers on the first page within the series that I just wanted to make you aware of that I was doing those. And in the second part, I have transfers between the 2,000, 3,000, and 4,000 series, which do require your approval, so I'd be looking for a motion to approve those transfers.
I would entertain that motion.
So give the transfers.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, it is a vote.
And Mary Ellen, do you want to speak to the approval of the award, or would you like me to?
No, speak to that.
Okay. In your packet, I have I had provided a memo to Dr. Burnell regarding a recommendation to purchase a multi-function school activity bus. I closely reviewed the bid and worked with my staff and Mr. Fahey, and I've consulted with Dr. Burnell regarding it. The funding was approved by you at a recent meeting. It is recommended that I'd like to move forward in securing the van. We had 3 bidders, and the bidder that we'd like to award it to would be Hutchins Motors, doing business as O'Connor Bus Sales. They had came in with the lowest price on their bid, and I'd look for a motion.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the award of the procurement of a multifunction school activity bus to Hutchins Motors.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. Thank you.
This will be a great thing for our school district, definitely. Okay. And then the modular at Bryn Mawr. We went out to bid for the engineering services for the engineer and designer for the modular. We were able to award that to Nault Engineering. They were the sole bidder at $26,900. I'd like to get a motion to approve that we are able to award it to them.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the bid from the Nault Engineering to install the modular for Mars.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, question. I wasn't aware that we were adding a modular at Bryn Mawr. Did I miss that discussion, I guess, or?
Through the chair, that was, that's been in our CIP, and the plan was to add that classroom there. So that's actually, that was probably in there for 5 years. But with, particularly with some of our special needs students who are coming up from the preschool, in order to, Bryn Mawr School is really maxed out in terms of space. We've made use of every available spot. So there's $285,000 in the CIP to install one. So part of it required going out with an engineer, an architect, and Mr. Fahey and Mrs. Worsbicky have done that part. Now it's engineering, and then then the next phase will be they're actually going out to bid to actually have it built. And the goal is to have it constructed and in place prior to the start of the school year.
And this will be modular number 3 there, or?
Correct. There's currently 2 classrooms, so this will be a 3rd classroom. It will actually be, as you walk down the classroom hallway, just as you enter into, there's a little foyer area where the modulars are now. It will be off the side from that. It'll be out in that back parking
So it'll be in
lot.
that same area?
Correct. Correct.
Wayne?
I probably asked you this before, but what is the average lifespan of a portable classroom?
You know, I mean, I think it varies somewhat depending on who you
Right,
talk
just
to.
roundabout.
But I would say this, the modulars at Bryn Mawr School, I believe have been in place there at approximately 17 years or so. The one thing that, and I give Mr. Fahey credit on this as well, that he's been able to extend the life of those, because if he has to
I
replace the
understand that.
floor or the roof and things, so we have certainly gotten far more out of those than they may have originally been expected.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Another question, if I may? Are we buying them or leasing them?
We
Or-
actually purchase them,
You
so they'll
purchase them.
actually come, yes, the ones that we haven't purchased. And some individuals had asked the question, and this had come up during our master plan team meetings, could we move one from Julia Bancroft and to bring it over there? Unfortunately, and
Oh, yeah,
Mr.
because they have one off where they at.
They
That's
do.
right, yeah.
And Mr. Fahey had assessed that, and you know, this instability of moving it, obviously getting it across the roads and the age of it, just did not make sense to do that. So this is the better way to go.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. And we now move on to policies.
So this final item, we had brought forward to you updating the residency policy, and this is timely in that over the summer, we have many families who move into Auburn, and obviously we want to confirm that they in fact are living in Auburn. This was actually a document that we had seen from a neighboring school district, and we thought that it really gave even more legitimacy, because if an individual perhaps is renting somewhere or living with someone else, they always needed to go and get a notarized document. What this actually does is we thought it made it much clearer in the expectation, and would become part of our residency requirement.
I like it.
So it is my recommendation that you approve this, and we would add it to our packet.
I would entertain that motion.
Make the motion to approve the updated residency affidavit as presented.
Second. Any discussion?
Just a question. Does this replace the notarized?
This actually would replace that, yes. Yep.
Any other discussion?
I don't think so. Well, I didn't think it was, but it was in addition to.
So let me retract that. This may be in addition to, I'm just looking at this. So this would be in addition to, yeah. So that they're actually signing an affidavit, but it would still need to be notarized. Because the process, so for someone who owns their own home and can show residency for that with a tax bill and utilities, would not be required to complete this. This is somebody who is renting or leasing a facility, or perhaps is living with somebody else.
Okay, that seems good.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. And do we have anything under executive session?
We do not this
We do
evening.
not. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd make that motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. Good night, everyone.